welcome back to another video. I am all wrapped up because it is absolutely freezing here in the UK. It's just before Christmas and I thought I would film my goals for 2023 so that I could have it all edited and ready for the new year. So I have a list. Some of you may recognise this book if you watched my goals for 2022 video last year. I have the book with all of the goals that I set last year for this year, and I wanted to review those first and kind of assess what I have and have not done, and then we can decide what goals we want to take forward to the next year. So I think the main one that I had envisaged was to have my art in a gallery or exhibit in a gallery. Now this hasn't happened, but I did inquire and have an offer to have my artwork in an online gallery rather than a physical gallery, which I did consider and I almost did it. However, it just wasn't the right time for me. With running my own website, doing stalls, etc., it wasn't the right time to have an online exhibition / shop in another person's gallery website, so it just wasn't for me. So I didn't reach that goal. I did, however, stock my artwork / miniatures in a shop for the year, which went well. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. I've just recently collected all my stock from that shop. They will be rebranding and reopening in the new year, but I'm going to assess whether I'd like to continue with that, because again, that's another load on top of my own website, etc., that I just wasn't sure whether it was something for me. So I would like to take that forward into the new year. I think having my work in a gallery is is definitely something that I'd like to achieve, and I'm not going to set it as my priority of this next year though. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it's not going to be the end of the world. I am looking to enter the Jackson's art competition, which, if I was fortunate enough to win, would result in a gallery exhibition. So I think it's kind of something that may amass from other goals, such as entering art competitions. That is one goal that I think I'd like to try more of. I'd like to get my artwork out there and see if I can win some competitions. That would be amazing to be able to do. So that's just an additional little goal for next year. It's not something related to last year. So my other goal for this year was to do more stalls in different places. So this is my second year doing the Kirkstall Abbey markets, and that's the only stall I did this year. I still didn't do any other stalls. Now, that's mainly because the Kirkstall Abbey markets are on every month, and bar maybe 1 or 2 months, I do pretty well at them. I tend to make my stall cost back and a good amount of profit, not an unhappy amount of profit. And it makes me nervous swapping out that stall for another stall. So the only way to go about doing more stalls is to add them into other weekends, which is very difficult when my partner's family live down south, my family live a little bit further up north. And also, you know, we have friends, we have rugby, we have, you know, time we'd like to spend alone, time I need to do artwork, you know, for these things. So it's a very, and I'm sure many of you also feel it, and I think after COVID, I feel like it hit more that time is harder to manage. I feel like over COVID, I kind of got used to being inside and being able to do art all the time, and suddenly everything opened back up and I was having to go out a lot more, and I have struggled to do more art this year, and I think that has also influenced the fact that I'd not wanted to do any more stalls. However, I am going to carry that goal forward next year, purely because I think even if I just do it around Christmas, yes, the most hectic time of the year. However, I think in terms of profit, doing more stalls around Christmas is going to be very lucrative for me, and that is one that I think I'd like to try and pursue more of. I've seen a lot of stalls. I've got a lot of art friends now that have been telling me about all these other stalls. There's actually stalls, there's a few night markets nearby, and I think that would be a good a good thing. I can do it after work, so it's not going to eat into my weekends quite as much. So I think that's one thing I'd like to carry forward, is doing more stalls. So these goals are very much, I've either achieved them or not, or I'd like to continue doing these goals in the new year. So we'll do an overview at the end, because I'm aware I'm splitting between different things, but we'll do an overview of the goals at the end. So yes, didn't do any more, but that is another goal I'd like to carry forward. Launching my Patreon. Now, I didn't do it, and again, that was a time thing. I didn't want to launch my Patreon if I, one, didn't have lots of interest. I want to have a good amount of interest from the get-go. I don't want to go with like 2 patrons and I'm doing exclusive artwork or exclusive things for them just for 1 or 2 people, because then I'm not going to be able to recycle that artwork, and I think that's going to be an issue. So I'd like to set off doing that with a good fan base first of all, and also I think I didn't have the time to be able to put that effort into doing exclusive artwork, and so I didn't want to launch it and then feel so pressured and burnt out. And many of you commented on my last art goals video saying that I'm going to burn myself out doing so many goals, so I need to prioritize, and that's why I didn't do it, because I was going to struggle to meet the demand, and that didn't sit right with me, so I didn't continue it. But that, again, I'm going to carry that forward, but it's going to be low on my priority list until I feel like I have the following and the exclusive time to be able to put to it. It's something I'm working on. I did have, I mentioned this in the last goals video, I did have 3 tiers kind of mapped out with the names, the pictures, the rewards, but I think I'm going to rethink all of that and refresh it. And I also think it needs to be a bit more to my current style, so I think I'd like to rethink all of that, but that is something that I will be carrying forward. The next one was hit 1,000 subscribers on my channel. I set that goal December, January, and by the end of January I'd hit 1,000 subscribers. I'd hit them and I'd managed, and I've got another 290 subscribers from that over that point. So it did hit a little bit of a plateau. I'm not sure whether the art goals video of me setting that goal pushed it, I'm not sure. But I'm going to set the goal of reaching 2,000 subscribers this year. I'd really like that, that would be great. Because I'd like to get my watch time up. I've noticed that my watch time is, you know, I put out a 10 to 20 minute video and the average watch time is about 6 minutes. So I need to make my videos more engaging. I'm very aware of that. I think it's something I struggle with purely because I only really have time sometimes, especially with my inking videos, to just film the inking. I've not expanded to do something a bit more interesting. So I do tend to do a lot of the speed paint type videos instead of, you know, other things. I've looked at my analytics. I know what videos work. Videos where I am comparing things or trying something new tend to work very well. So I'd like to try those a bit more. So I'm thinking, you know, some more paint carving videos. That's a great video. Some more comparing. So I did the art cheap oil colours versus expensive oil colours, and that did really, really well. So I'd like to do some more of those, maybe some in different things, so acrylics, watercolours, blah, blah, blah. I just think doing more of those interactive videos where people are learning from them, I think is a good way to go about increasing my audience, and that's what I'm going to aim to do this next year. That's for sure. So if you have any suggestions, do put them in the comments below, because I will take them on board, and it's just something I'd really like to work on a little bit more. The next one is paint larger paintings. So you have not seen any videos on that, but I have started a larger painting. I started it this last month, but then Christmas. It's sat next to me here. It's a big painting. It's very pink at the moment because I did a pink base coat. I've got the sketch done. I've got, you know, some base wash colours down. I just need to refine it in oil paint and that'll be done. So that'll be a new year painting, maybe not January, maybe not February, but by March you will see a large painting video. So I will have met that goal sort of. I started it this year, but next year I will have met it, that's for sure. So that's one I have done at least. The next one is creating new products. Again, I have done that. I created some sticker sets. I rebranded and redesigned all our gecko kits for the miniature side of things. I've done a few new products like keyrings and stuff for miniatures. In terms of art, I'd like to do a few more though this next year. I'm thinking of overhauling my Huevembers. They've been quite a focal point at my stalls. I have a big board with all my Huevembers on, and I think I'd like to do a new set of artwork, not necessarily as a challenge over a month. I took a year off challenges and it's felt wonderful. But I think I need to do a new set of artwork, and I'd like to do that. I bought a new printer. I've not even shown that in my vlog yet. That's what I'm going to film after this, is part of my vlog, so that you will see the new printer. So you'll have seen it in the vlog prior to this video going up. I bought a new printer, a very expensive Epson. It's just, where is it? Here. And it's an EcoTank Epson. I did some research and I'm just fiddling around with it, but it prints beautifully, and I'd like to start printing my own art prints. I have obviously printed at a print shop before, and that's been great. But there's obviously a minimum spend, and every additional artwork that you want to print is an additional cost, and it does rack up. And I think to be more cost efficient for my selling rate and audience, I think I need to start printing my own artwork and selling it on a small scale. Maybe small batch artwork would be great. And then we can look at expanding eventually in a few years' time to start printing at print shops. But for now, I'd like to start printing my own prints. That would be great. But yes, so there are some new products I'd like to, there's always new products every year. That's an ongoing goal, I feel. The next one is complete current sketchbook. I can't remember what the current sketchbook was. I did have a look, and I've only completed one sketchbook this year. You've just seen the sketchbook tour of this one, my Etcher Lab one. I only completed one. I went from 2022, where I think I completed like 3 sketchbooks in 1 year, to completing one this year. It's just been manic, and again, I hark back to COVID, and I know everyone's using the COVID excuse, but not necessarily an excuse. It's more things have ramped up, and you know, social lives have begun, and going out and about has continued, and it's just made my artwork linger, let's say. But I am working on it. I've done some more artwork in my big sketchbook. I have 2 other sketchbooks on the go, 3 other sketchbooks on the go, so I am working on other ones. It's just I probably shouldn't be working on so many sketchbooks at one time, but again, let's see if we can complete a couple more sketchbooks this next year. That'd be great. And then the last one I have written down, I don't remember if I said any more, are doing inking classes on Domestika or Skillshare. So I didn't do that, and that's again the time thing. I think, like many of you said, I was biting off more than I could chew. It was just not doable to do all of that, and I'm not sure whether I would like to pin that with Patreon and kind of do that as and when I can, and potentially not even do it on Skillshare or Domestika. We'd have to see. Maybe I make it more of a Patreon exclusive thing, lure more people in, or maybe I do an initial course on those websites, and then I kind of point everyone into the direction of my Patreon, and you can subscribe to get more hints and tips, and work through on lives or things like that. I don't know, make it a bit more exclusive, and I think that's something I need to really plan out and think of and look into a little bit more. But yeah, I just didn't really have the time for that, but it's something that I would like to continue forward. But again, not so much an immediate goal that I'd like to reach. So that's it for the goals from last year. Let's do an overview of what I've said I'd like to do as the goals for this year. So again, I'd like to exhibit in a gallery. However, I think let's just see where I go. I think I'm going to enter competitions, and I'm going to see whether I can win those and get into galleries that way. If not, I will apply for some galleries and see where we get from that. Around Christmas, I'd like to do more stalls. So number 2, do more stalls, but around Christmas. Number 3, and I'm going to do 3 and 4 at the same time, launch a Patreon and do some inking courses. They will go hand in hand, I think. Just something as a pairing would go well. Then number 5, let's hit 2,000 subscribers this year. That would be great. Yes, let's hit 2,000 subscribers. We've got, what, 710 subscribers to go till that. So it's not tons, but you never know. I have hit a plateau and I think I need to be working hard at that. So what's that, 5? It's number 6, ongoing goal, create new products. That's low on the list. And number 7, are we on? I've already lost track. I'm literally saying the numbers. Number 7, complete a sketchbook. So I'm not going to add any more goals to that. I'm just going to expand on those initial goals. I'm not looking to overload myself. I took all your feedback from last year on board, and I've noticed this year that yes, I would have burnt myself out trying to achieve all of those. So they're just expansions. So just 7 goals, but they happen if they happen goals. I think the main one for me is just expanding this YouTube channel, and I think to do that I need to be making sure that I do hit the 2 videos a week. For the most of the year I have, and that's been great, but there has been weeks where, you know, I've not been well or I've gone away and I've not prepared enough videos so that when I have them going out whilst I'm away, but when I get back I'm so tired from the trip or from being unwell that I've not had time to then film more. So I've struggled to kind of meet the demand some weeks, and I think that has definitely affected, I'm going to say the dreaded algorithm word, but I feel like it's definitely affected my videos being pushed. So it's something I need to continue, and I think the 2 videos a week is doable. I've done it for, like I say, most of the year. So I need to do that. Let's continue with that. Let's grow the channel. Let's get to 2,000 subscribers this year. Hopefully we can do bigger and better things the more subscribers we have, and then all the other goals can follow on from that. I think that's the best way to go about it. But I'm hoping we can expand together, and I really appreciate all your support this year. I appreciate everyone watching, and if you've made it this far in this video, I really appreciate that too, because the watch time really does count towards growing as well. So if you're those that do have my video on in the background, like I watch videos in the background when I'm doing my artwork. If you're one of those people and you do that with my videos, I really, really appreciate it. It means more than you know, it really does. And I appreciate everyone's support that has supported me all year. And I hope to bring you more videos that you'd like to see, but please never feel like you can't tell me a video you'd like to see in the comments below, or even give me feedback. You know, I've had feedback about my voiceovers and keeping them in the present rather than talking about the future, and I've really tried to take that on board. I'm constantly learning. Everyone's learning in life, and I really appreciate all feedback, all watch time, all likes, all comments, everything you do. So thank you very much to everyone who's watched, and have a happy new year, and I will see you in the next video, the first video probably after this one of the year. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you there.